Bringing the car out today. It's Thursday, and first thing I notice, I already taped it back, but these two pieces came off. That I've yet to put on, but I wanted to start filming before I did it. There we go. We're headed to Santana Row. I actually want to go to Tesla, or actually stop by Tesla. I wanted to ask them if Teslas actually have some kind of weight system to account for human body weight, the amount of weight in the trunk and the front, and AC usage. When we drove the car down to Carmel, Monterey, it was actually pretty accurate on how much battery we would have. On the way there, we ended up getting to the supercharger with 48%. I claimed 45. When we left my house, the map gave us a 50% charge left when we get there. But as we were driving on the highway, it dropped down and gave us a 48%, and I said no, it's gonna be 45. And then when we got to the supercharging station, it was at 48%. So without further ado, I'm gonna put the top down and I will see you guys at Santana Row. Hopefully the camera stays. I just got to Santana Row. Driving this car is possibly the most ironic thing I did for this video. The way it was not built, but the way it was changed up, because the car's on lowering springs and I have sway bars in the back. It is so hard not to try and have fun every single time I bring this car out. I'm about to roll a few clips I actually filmed over the weekend as we brought our Model 3 down to Carmel and Monterey. Now, the bad thing about single motor Tesla, which I believe only the Model 3 comes in, I think the Model S only comes in dual motor. Range is horrible. We got to one of two supercharging stations down in Monterey with 48% left, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, early on in the video. And we didn't go fast. Usually we do, but because we wanted to conserve the battery, we just didn't go fast. And then we supercharged the first day back up to 100%. We went to have lunch at the inn at the Spanish Bay, cruised through the 17-mile. This view is gorgeous. Kind of sucks that iPhone's HDR is making it look brighter than it is. Usually, for those of you who come here, know that there's people, who fill out the entire platform here. But Sunday afternoon to early nighttime. Got to the hotel with roughly, I think it was 89%. And then the hotel we stayed at had two regular chargers, and there was already a Model S on one of them, so we took the other one for the night. Coincidentally, both Teslas charged through the night. Alright, using a destination charger, which is different from the superchargers. Never used this before, but we are currently in the Carmel Highlands and have to charge up for tomorrow when we go to Big Sur. But first time using them, which is really cool. 2 hours to charge from 89% to 100% for those who are curious. The morning when we went down to Big Sur, we started at 99%, and I think we got to Big Sur, Pfeiffer Beach, Big Sur, with I think it was 88 or 89%. But temporary closure. but that was me babying the accelerator. I don't think I put anything over 30% pressure on the accelerator. And I know for me, especially with a Tesla, for, you know, car enthusiasts, we like going fast. And a Tesla, you know, there's no gears basically, infinite acceleration. I like driving Teslas fast. But in this case, it was because of the battery capacity. The owner doesn't want to supercharge it all that often. Due to the weather conditions, it was really foggy that morning. My family woke up earlier than I did, about 3 hours early. I was just totally just dead from the night before. Apparently at 6 a.m. it was beautiful. They saw the sunrise, there was no fog. By the time it hit about, I think 9 a.m., the fog had just rolled in. And the whole way from the hotel to Pfeiffer Beach, it was roughly 30 miles, but because I wasn't driving as fast, anywhere near as fast as I wanted to, 30 miles felt like nothing. Still mentally draining at the same time, because my focus had to try and look through the fog and look at the road ahead. And for, I think it's like the very first time in my driving career, so to speak, I've never driven anywhere, you know, 10 to 15 miles below the speed limit, and I had to that day because as ballsy as I am, I couldn't end with the frunk and the trunk both filled because we took all of our belongings to the beach and back. We didn't want to stop by the hotel, and the hotel didn't have a concierge either because of the, because of COVID. We had human weight, 3 people. We didn't have the AC blowing because thank God it was really, really, really cool that day or that morning, so we didn't need the AC. And our frunk and trunk were completely full. Human body weight and the weight of items was what I was concerned with the most, and you can feel the weight compared to if I'm just driving the car by myself. Say, if I'm bringing the Tesla to Santana Row to charge, and then comparing that driving experience with the drive to and from with front and the trunk both filled, I was able to, even with my parent driving, I was able to feel the weight difference. What that taught me was, and because we watched a movie called Peaceful Warrior actually last week, main point of this video is to tell people who suffer from depression or social anxiety. I don't even know if this will work for social anxiety, but even for me it's a process. People who have depression, we only have depression because we're constantly, if not almost every second of our waking moment, is thinking about memories and nightmares of the past. And what I learned from Peaceful Warrior and what I learned from this drive is sometimes it's not about just cutting through to the goal, just cutting through to the objective. Sometimes it's really about just enjoying the journey and enjoying what you're driving by or what you're walking by, and taking all that in, reaping the reward afterwards. There's this one segment in the movie where the teacher, who's a mechanic, led his student up a hill for 3 hours, and the student was wondering what the teacher wanted to show him. They got to the top of the mountain, or the top, or at least where the teacher wanted to stop. The camera panned down to a rock and a flower. The rock and the flower weren't even the goals of what they were, what they were going for. The goal was the teacher wanted the student to be inspired and, feel happy and feel motivated about why he was climbing, or why he was spending 3 hours climbing that hill. It wasn't until after the fact, the teacher himself said he didn't know what to expect at the top of the mountain, but the student said that he realized the teacher was trying to pass on to him the lesson to enjoy the journey and not to rush the journey only to try and enjoy the reward. The reward was basically to enjoy the journey and reap the reward. So I feel like that was kind of funny how, of all things considered, it was the weight of the items in the car and the weather conditions that forced me to enjoy the environment we were driving through, because honestly it was beautiful. We had to drive over 2 bridges and both sides was covered in fog. Essentially, video game vibe, if you will. Let's take a coffee break. I'm gonna go get a cup of Blue Bottle. That's for Hannibal, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Good one, man.
You too. Got my coffee. After watching the previous clip, which I had to, I lost track of what the previous topic was, but I left off with video game vibes, how, after driving across the two bridges, the Bixby Bridge and there was another minor bridge we drove over, and there was fog on both sides. But main point is, instead of reliving the past, instead of predicting what's going to happen in the future, just say the top 10% know what they're doing. The rest of the 90% of us, especially those who live with, I don't even know if I can consider bipolar into this. I'm just taking depression into the equation because I've been through it myself. I've lived through it myself. I'm still living through it. Depression it's curable. It's just that we have depression because we are constantly living in the past. We're constantly thinking about how others have treated us in the past. And this is where Gary Vee really steps in and says, why do you put any emotional weight on what other people tell you when they don't even know you? Unless if it's someone who I really know, and unless if it's someone who really knows me, tells me an issue I'm having, then I'll put some weight into that. But for some complete stranger to, cuss at me, throw me an insult, that by itself, you actually should feel sorry for them, because why allow them to have the opportunity and the mindset of throwing an insult at you when they don't even know you? They shouldn't even be allowed to, stripping everything down to their basics. They're a stranger to you, you're a stranger to them. I think main point is what this trip has taught me and what this movie has taught me, and there's a lot of other moments in Peaceful Warrior, even though it came out in 2006. The most important moment is here, right now, this very second. Like me drinking this coffee could have been a moment. How does this cup feel like? How does this lid feel like? What does the coffee taste like? How cold is this? Am I able to feel how cold this is? It's essentially activating all of your senses to the best of your ability. Living in the moment means doing everything you can to the best of your ability. I know for a fact I am very, very, very guilty of living in the past. Been doing that ever since middle school, basically. I never really knew what it meant to live in the moment until I watched that movie. It's not based on a true story. It's not based on true events. It was inspired by true events. I have watched enough and I've heard enough to know it is pretty accurate to what it means to live in the moment. Next step, which is really, really, really hard, is to see things for what they are, call things for what they are. If someone's being a total dick to you, I feel like this is up to the individual's discretion, but you can either be nice to them back or you can also be a dick to them back. At the same time, you can't be emotionally caught and tied into what the situation is turning into. There's just a lot of things about Peaceful Warrior that I liked that I don't really want to mention in this video today because it doesn't call for it. I just wanted to let the world know and let the people who have depression know that it is okay to be in pain, but it is not okay to keep reliving it, because if there's no pain, then there's no life. Life is full of painful moments and memories and happy moments and memories. If we never have a painful moment, what does that turn us into? Humans have both painful and happy moments. We're not robots. Even some robots can be coded to have happy and sad moments. Well, let's just take movies for example, right? In movies, you can code a robot to, be happy or sad. And in the real world today, AI is so smart. It knows what sadness is and it knows what happiness is. I feel like for those who are going through depression and all that, like I completely get what you're, going through. At the same time, that's also, you can be painful at that moment in time. It is okay to be emotionally, hurting or happy, which is even better. Once that moment is gone, it's history. And the main point of living in the moment is never to go back on those over and over again. Otherwise, I feel like 99% of the people out there will start telling you, stop being the victim and start doing. Now that I've, came across this point, there's one moment in the movie. This guy was a gymnast, but because he was so frustrated with his progress in extracurricular activities at school, which was, being a gymnast, what his teacher was attempting to teach him, he got fed up, he was enraged, and that eventually got himself into a motorcycle accident, which shattered his leg. The doctor said there's a good possibility he will never walk again. I'm guessing this is weeks and months of dedication and hard work. He was able to walk, and practicing on the down low, getting into being a gymnast. At the end, when the teacher told him to go do what he loves, because the whole point of him being a gymnast was trying to get the gold medal and trying to improve himself to get the gold medal. But then the teacher was like, so what about the gold medal? So what about the Olympics? A true warrior does what he loves, not for anything else. And on the back end, if you really strip it down, it's not about the gold medal. Gold medal is just to seek approval from others that you're worthy of something. But if you're damn good on with something, why do you need the approval of other people to tell you that you're good, to tell you that you're that good? The teacher's main point was to practice gymnastics because he loves it. When the student emotionally reacted and said no, he said, how could I just broke my leg, I'm not trying to die. Is basically what he said. And the teacher said, only a fool reacts, a warrior does. That quote really struck me. Where this student was setting from his perspective was he's advanced so much, he understands the concepts, but as soon as the teacher told him to go back to doing what he loves, which is what caused the accident in the first place, the student finally realizes that it's the sport that he loves. It's not the gold medal he's after. It's not seeking the approval of others that he's after. As long as he's doing his best at doing what he loves, and that's basically all that matters. To just live in the moment. There was another cutscene. Got to the Olympics, and he had a chat with his teammate because they had a conversation, and he visualized his teammate as the him, but in the past, before all this personal development, passed on by his teacher. The movie ended as he was mid-process in pulling off this stunt. He was so focused in on that moment in time, being on the two circles of the handles, I guess. The main point of that was to live in that moment, because the most important moment was that specific second before he was about to do the move and when he was about to do the move. Back to the original point of why this car is so ironic is because every single time I want to get in this car, it's a 5-speed. It doesn't have 200, 300, 400 horsepower. From the factory, it has 125, yeah, factory 125, but I'm guessing I have maybe 90 horsepower at most. With this car, the good thing is it's so light, I could carry on through momentum, and that's why every single time I drive this car, I like going fast. But today, for the first time, I just cruised because I was feeling the wind blowing in my face, I was feeling the wind lifting up my hair, I was feeling the gear shifts, I was feeling the gas pedal modulation through my feet. I was still sending the car through turns, but not as fast compared to the Tesla, which is even faster. It's the environment that caused me to slow down and enjoy the surroundings and enjoy the environment that I was driving through, which was the fog, which provided an amazing scenery. I know this was a long ass video, but I really just felt like putting that out, and I just wanted to tell the people who are going through depression to just try and live in the moment. Try to grasp the reality, try to tell yourself that the past is the past. It's not that bad. People change. If you come across someone who doesn't change, then once they walk away, that's history as well. That no longer matters. You get people who bully you, there's any emotional connection. I'm still affected to that to this day, and it sucks, but I'm still trying to focus on working that out. Hope y'all had a nice week. It's Thursday today. Hopefully I can get this video edited and done by today, and I will catch you guys later. There's no signal here. Yep.
Getting back down would probably be another question, but the question is, how would he get down? 怎么抓你下来哦？ 2个人在看。对啊。那可能从另外一边下来。 上去我们都没看到吗？
没有啊。
卡住了吧？
看我在笑。
我看从上下来。
比赛就什么进去？
冠军，这个冠军。
真厉害啊！你刚刚都没有发现说那边是有点像石头楼梯这样子，可是他在走的时候，你就觉得它像石像一件。